Hello! Today I will be walking you through a short introduction to the current iteration of the strike and dip tool. In order to access that tool, we'll start from the Penn State virtual field trip website you see here. We'll go ahead and click this picture to take us to the strike and dip page. From here, in order to open a playable web browser version of the project, just go to the link that I have just highlighted. The goal of the strike and dip project is to teach users how to take a strike and dip measurement off of 3D models of geologic structures, as well as to give individuals who are already familiar with strike and dip extra practice taking those measurements. I'll walk you through a couple of the basic elements of this program, as well as how to use them. I'll start out with the compass tool, which you can see right in the center of the screen here. This is the tool you'll be using to take all of the strike and dip measurements within this project. In order to rotate or move the compass to take the measurements you'd like, we'll be using the compass control panel on the bottom left-hand corner here. In order to rotate the compass, just click and hold on the rotate compass dial here, and as you spin, the compass will spin to match it. In order to physically move the compass, you'll use the movement sliders here, which move the compass along the corresponding axes. The X slider will move the compass right and left. The Y slider will move the compass up and down. And the Z slider will move the compass forward and backwards. Once you have decided that you would like to reset the compass position or rotation, you can do so by pressing the Reset Compass Position or Reset Compass Rotation buttons here. This will return the compass to its original orientations. The next element I will highlight is the display compass face up on the top right corner of the screen here. This compass face will always mirror the orientation of the compass tool itself. The red and white needle will always point north, and the black needle will always point to the ground. In this circumstance, since the compass is flat, the black needle will sort of just hang out. But when the compass is vertical to take the dip measurement, you'll see that it always drops to point towards the ground. Other than showing you a large visual representation of the compass face, this display compass also allows you to rotate the face of the compass while taking different measurements. You can do so by just clicking and holding on the compass face and moving your cursor. The north icon on this compass face will always point towards your cursor. Next, I will teach you how to move within this environment. In order to physically move yourself, you can use the arrow keys, which will let you move forward and backwards, left and right. In order to change the view that you currently have, if you hold down the right mouse button, you can move the mouse up and down, left and right, which will change the angle in which you're viewing the compass tool. You can also raise or lower the camera's position by using these buttons in the bottom right-hand corner, which will let you raise up or lower down to get a more preferable position on whichever measurement you're currently trying to take. The next element I will highlight is the data window, which is the top left corner here. This panel will display all of the measurements you've taken for strike and dip. It's broken up into a number of different nodes, which lets you take individual measurements for each one. You can also retake measurements over and over, and it will just erase the previous measurements and replace them with current measurements. I'll demonstrate taking one of those measurements now so you can see how the data fills into this window. Once you have oriented your compass in a way that you'd like so that you can take the strike measurement, click the Save Strike button here, and it will fill in the current strike orientation for the compass, as well as orient the compass to be ready to take the dip measurement. As you can see, once pressing the Save Strike button, the compass flips vertically and rotates itself 90 degrees so that you're now ready to take the dip measurement. At this point, the compass also locks itself in world space, allowing you to move around without altering the compass's position. That way, you can get a better vantage point on the measurement you're trying to take. The compass is still manipulatable using the control panel, so you'll go ahead and spin the compass to match whichever dip orientation you'd like. When you're ready to save the dip, click Save Dip button here, and that will automatically fill in the dip measurement into the corresponding column on the data window. As I said before, if you don't like the measurements you took, you can go ahead and retake them, and it will just overwrite those values. If you would like to take additional measurements, you can switch to different active nodes by clicking on any of the buttons to the left of the corresponding nodes, and that will allow you to fill in values for those specific nodes, allowing you to take a number of different measurements at once. Once you've taken the strike and dip measurements, if you would like to see visual representations of those measurements, click the Draw Data button, and this will draw a vector along the strike and dip measurement that you've taken for the corresponding active node. Once you would like to clear those drawings, click the Clear Drawn button, and that will take those arrows out. The next element I will show you is the visibility display. This display allows you to toggle on and off the visibility of any of the on-screen objects that I've gone over so far. You can show them all at once, hide them all at once, or show and hide, well, toggle individual items using these buttons here. When you're done with this display, click the visibility display button a second time, and it'll hide that panel. Next up, I'll show you the tour guide. This allows you to navigate around the environment to pre-designated locations set up as tour stops. Each stop will, in this little window, give you the listed tour stop number on the tour, as well as a brief snippet of information about what that stop is. This tour guide panel also will allow you to return to whichever tour stop you visited most recently, or to return to the location you started this program in case you wander off and get lost and need to return. Click the Return to Start, and it takes you right back to where you started. Other than that, you can navigate forward and backward through the tour stops with the Next Stop or Previous Stop buttons. And as you can see, it informs you as to what that tour stop is. Next, I'll go over a couple of the options here in the main menu. We'll start with the Info Guide menu. While playing this project, if you forget what any of the objects on the screen are or how to use them, go to the Info Guide menu. In this menu, you can hover over any object on the screen, and a box will appear telling you what that object is and displaying a description of what it does and how to use it. Whenever you're done on this screen, click the Return to Main Menu, and that will return you to the main menu. Next up, we have the Options menu. This menu allows you to customize the speed at which you physically move around the environment using the movement or the arrow keys, as well as the speed at which you turn and look while right-clicking the mouse and moving. So if you feel like you're looking or moving too quickly or too slowly, you can move these, and that will adjust the corresponding speeds. The other options on this option menu relate to how data is input into the data window. Earlier, I showed you the autofill mode, which as the name would imply, when you click Save Dip or Save Strike, will automatically fill the values from the compass into those corresponding columns. For a little bit more advanced challenges, you can use the manual input mode, which requires the user to observe the measurements they're taking and physically type in the values into these boxes. In order to fill the values in, once you get the compass oriented how you'd like, click on the box and then just type the value you would like to save in there. Once you're done filling those in, hit enter. If you decide to change back and forth between manual input or autofill, these values will be saved, so no data will be lost if you decide to toggle back and forth. Next, we also have a credits page, which if you have any comments, feedback, suggestions, ideas, anything, by all means, please contact the development team. We're always happy for more input as this tool is a work in progress. You can also click either of these buttons to visit the websites related to the development team's pages. With that, I will go ahead and start a run through of the actual content of this demo now that I've introduced you to the functionality within this project. This demo walks users through the basic steps of what strike and dip are and how to use them. To begin, we're going to go ahead and just click right here where it says click to start. This will open up a text box in welcoming you to the project and informing you that in order to start the example demo, you can either use the arrow keys or the tour guide to navigate to the first stop where the annotation node marked 1 is located. You can see that right over here. We'll go ahead and just jump to that stop. As you can see, it's the strike measurement stop. It's going to teach the user how to take a strike measurement. Go ahead and click here. You can read through this. It's basically informs the user how to take a strike measurement. As you can see, we have a little display arrow for the strike example here. And we're going to go ahead and try and match the compass's position and orientation to that strike arrow. That looks about good. When we're ready to save, we just click the Save Strike button here. And that will move us into the dip mode, ready to take our dip measurement. At this point, we'll go ahead and move to the next tour stop and open up the dip measurement text or annotation node. Then we're going to position the compass to try and match the dip preview arrow here. Once it's relatively lined up, go ahead and click the Save Dip button. And then we'll go ahead and proceed to the next tour stop. On this one, tour stop number 3, it shows you both the strike and the dip and teaches the user how to use the Draw Data button that I exemplified earlier. This will display the strike and dip vectors for the measurement they've just taken. I believe that's all of the basic functionality currently in this project. I hope you enjoyed, and as I said before, if you have any comments, suggestions, ideas, or feedback, please don't hesitate to contact the development team. We're always happy for more input, and this developing prototype tool is going to continue being added to moving into the future. Thank you very much, and have a good day.